left a evaluation for you to complete on the presentation. So if you can please turn those in at the end. That way it helps the board of directors at Newberry to try to figure out what people are interested in and how we can set up future trainings and presentations for you. So my name is Chaz Riddich. I'm the chair of the board of directors for the Newberry Council on Aging. And today we have Lee Hartwell from Elder Services of the Merrimack Valley, who is a registered dietitian, and she works with the nutrition program at Elder Services, which a lot of people know by the Meals on Wheels program. And we also have Susan Polidniak, who is a program manager and a registered dietitian also with the Healthy Living Center of Excellence. So I'm going to turn it over to these guys. All right.
Thank you.
If you want handouts, you know what we're talking about.
Well, welcome everyone, and thank you so much for coming. As Chaz mentioned, this is very informal. We'd like to keep this very, engaging. We have a quiz that we put in front of you. It's a 6-question quiz. If you wouldn't mind just taking, we're going to give you a few minutes. We can do it maybe interactively.
Yeah, we'll just do it as we go.
Let's just do it as we go. We'll start this now. And just shout out the answer if you know the answer. And there's no right or wrong answer on any of this stuff. So, Lee, you want to?
Great. So, like Chaz says, my name is Lee Hartwell, and I work for the Meals on Wheels program, dietitian at Elder Services. We'll talk a little bit more about what I do afterward. So today, Susan and I have developed this lesson on healthy living for the aging brain. So we're going to talk about how to eat better for your brain, which I think can benefit all of us in this room. Anybody disagree?
How could you?
How could you? Right, exactly. So the way that this is going to work is we're going to go through the questions, and then we'll provide the information on the question, and then but like Susan mentioned, discussion. If you have anything you'd like to share, raise your hand or just shout it out. It's a small group, so please, if you have any questions or feedback, let us know. So let's start with number 1. So the following foods should be limited for optimal brain nutrition. Select all that apply. So does anybody have any answers that they'd like to share? So these are the ones that should be limited for optimal brain nutrition.
Processed meats.
Processed meats, yep, that's one of them. Yep, so that's definitely. Anything else?
Sugary foods.
And sugary foods, yes? Anything else? There's one more on there. Yep. Starches. So this one was, starches is a little bit, it needs a little bit of explanation, but for starches, you notice how he puts in parentheses, white potatoes, pastas, breads, and rice. So those are the white, not the whole grains. We're not talking about the whole grain starches, but the white potatoes, white pasta, white rice. Those are all the starches that we want to limit. So the 2 things that we want to increase more are B, fatty fish, and E, cruciferous vegetables. So in order to better explain this, if everybody wants to turn on the back of this page, you can see on this handout right here, it says, which foods help the brain? Is everybody there on that page? So it's right on the back of that quiz. So once you're there, you can see that which foods help the brain. On the ones, no, don't apologize, it's fine. You can see we have vegetables. So what are cruciferous vegetables? Anybody know?
Broccoli.
Yeah, exactly. Broccoli, cauliflower,
Brussels sprouts.
cabbage. So those are all considered the cruciferous vegetables, and those are found to be most beneficial for the brain, as well as raw leafy greens. So spinach, mixed greens, kale, cabbage, some of those are also cruciferous vegetables. Fruit. So Susan's going to talk about a little bit more about the fruits and vegetables. Nuts, beans or legumes, and seafood. So that is primarily what encompasses the brain diet, or it kind of fits into a plan of a Mediterranean diet. Have people heard of that diet, Mediterranean diet? So that's been the diet that's been found to be the most beneficial for the brain, which is more or less outlined here. then you see on the right side are the foods to limit. So meat and poultry, especially red processed meat. So especially those cold cuts, those hot dogs, those sausages, those should all be limited in our diets. There's a lot of preservative, a lot of nitrates in them, and those things aren't as beneficial to the brain as some of our other protein choices. High fat dairy, white breads, white pastas, and then a lot of the packaged foods. So those are the ones we want to stay away from, and the ones we want to eat are more the fruits, vegetables, fish, legumes, more of kind of a vegetarian style diet, lots of healthy fats. And so that is our question 1. Do we have any feedback or comments on that? About that, any questions about this, about which foods help the brain? No? Everybody in agreement? Yes, go
I
ahead.
was gonna say, maybe something about the psychology of the fact that we know we should be eating. But the right column was so appealing.
It's true. So if people didn't hear, she said the psychology of most people know what we should be eating, right? We look at this, and if I were to say to you, which side should we say that we should eat more of and eat less of? I bet 100% of you would say we should eat less of all these foods on the right. And that's good. We do know, but the hard thing is implementing it. Exactly. Because these are the foods that our brain and our body wants. Those quick, digestible carbohydrates, instant energy to our brain and body. But we really want to focus more on these, which sometimes cost more money. They're a little bit more to prepare, and they take more time and energy. But we're going to talk about some ways of trying to help that. And there's some information in this packet that will help you with that as well. So that's a great point. Yes, we all know what we should do, but it's hard to do it sometimes. I agree. Any other questions or comments about question 1? Yes.
You know, when you mentioned sometimes I've read the menus for the school children.
Yeah.
And they're terrible.
Yes, and she said sometimes she reads the menus for the school children and they're terrible. I agree. It's a really hard balance between finding something that the kids would like, staying within the nutrition standards. Because I've seen examples of schools where they send all these wonderful foods and the foods go in the trash. Because it really starts before we get to school age, educating our children and introducing our kids to those foods. But I agree with you. Children do not have the best nutrition. They get used to eating different foods. Yes, exactly. Yeah. Anything else?
The margarine versus butter.
Yeah, so that's a great question. So you said margarine versus butter. So butter is high in what's called saturated fat, and saturated fat has led to a lot of things like inflammation, heart disease in our diet. Margarine is so butter is made from milk from cows, considered an animal product. Margarine is a vegetable product made from vegetable oils. The stick margarine can be high in what's called trans fat. So when you read the labels for margarine, you just want to make sure it doesn't have hydrogenated oils in it. If it does, don't select that. But if there's another margarine that you like that doesn't have hydrogenated oils, probably has some other beneficial properties in it, then go for it. There's a lot of those omega-3s, olive oil, and avocado oil, vegetable oil, and those are generally okay as long as they don't have hydrogenated oil in the label.
So the tub margarines, tub versus stick.
Yeah, it's not all tub. You have to really read.
Reading the labels and
Yeah.
seeing on the back, and if it does say the hydrogenated oil, then that would be something that we mentioned to stay away from. Yeah.
Yeah, I know there's about 100 different margarines now. Sorry. Well, bring your glasses to the grocery
Oh,
store.
yes.
Yes.
And don't go hungry.
That's right.
Okay,
All right.
question 2.
Moving on to question 2.
Okay, so question number 2. It is recommended to eat 2 to 3 cups of fruits and vegetables per day. Is that true or false? I see some true and some heads nodding. Anybody else? I'm sorry, true? It's actually false. It's recommended for 3.5 cups of fruits and vegetables a day. Yes, according to the USDA, the My Plate, okay, men should be eating 2 cups of fruit per day and 2.5 cups to 3 cups of vegetables per day. And women should eat 1.5 to 2 cups of fruits per day, And then 2 to 2.5 cups of vegetables per day. So only about 12% Americans eat as much fruit as they're really supposed to every day, and less than 10% eat enough vegetables that they should every day. Okay, so as we can see, not getting enough fruits and vegetables. But if you look at your handout, your second handout in your packet that Lee actually put on there, ways to get more fruits and vegetables in. If everyone turns to that. Ways to get more fruits and vegetables in. Everyone there? You can see general guidelines for what is considered a cup of fruit. So 1 cup of fruit is considered as 1 cut up chunks, pieces of fruit, okay? A half a cup of dried fruit, okay? Or 100% fruit juice, but this should be limited to a half a cup a day, okay? Because fruit juice has a lot of what? Sugar, okay? And dried fruit. Dried fruit is a good source of nutrients, but it also does have a lot of fruit has naturally occurring sugar in there. So you just want to be careful of the dried fruit and 100% fruit juice. It's recommended to eat more of your fresh fruit, or if we know fresh fruit can be very expensive, you can get your canned fruit in own juice, water packed. Okay? Also frozen fruit, I forgot to mention, is another good choice. Okay? So I can see probably a lot of heads nodding that we need to increase our fruit intake. Especially in the summertime, I'm sure we all do, because we get it from the farm stands and from the gardens and things like that. But in the wintertime, I know it's a little bit harder to get, especially in the grocery store. Prices go up, so maybe you could go towards more the canned fruit or the frozen fruit option. But whatever works best for you. Yes?
You know what's great is those canned peaches and the heavy syrup. My husband and I love those.
Yes, you just want to be careful. Somebody, this woman here mentioned about having canned peaches in heavy syrup. Canned peaches are very good, but it's a better choice would be in light syrup or in own juice, just because of the sugar content. Yeah. But every once in a while as a little treat, that's fine. Moderation is always the key. Also, you want to notice on your handout, the serving or the amount for 1 cup of vegetables is considered 1 cup of raw or cooked vegetables, 1 cup of low sodium, 100% vegetable juice, okay? We're saying low sodium because sodium actually can increase heart disease, can increase blood pressure. So if you do have heart disease, if you do have high blood pressure, it is recommended to have a low sodium version. And 2 cups of green leafy vegetables. And what is mentioned, who can mention what a green leafy vegetable? Spinach, yeah. Anybody else? I saw a hand raised back there.
I was going to say kale.
Kale,
Which I
yes.
love, but I know that it's...
Kale is the new thing now. Kale soups, and people are adding kale to a lot of recipes because it has so much nutrition added to it.
One of the broccolis is a green leafy vegetable.
Green leafy, yes. Correct. Good.
Does kale change once it's cooked? Or are you still getting the same
So you don't want to overcook it. When you overcook it, you're actually draining out a lot of the nutrients. So if you see kale or spinach and it has a lot of the green juice in there from like the water coming out, because it's a very waterous vegetable, you know a lot of the nutrients are probably in there. So you don't want to overcook it. Just lightly steaming it is actually a good
Or
option.
you can put it in soup so it's contained.
Absolutely, and let it cook itself. Yep, great option. Putting it in soup. Okay, getting your nutrition that way.
What's the one thing that fresh fruits and vegetables have that cooked vegetables have a lot less of? There's one thing, it's not a nutrient, that fresh vegetables have more of than cooked vegetables. Fruits too. What was that? Fiber. Yes, it's fiber. So you lose some fiber when you cook the vegetables or fruits. And fiber, we all know what fiber does, right? We don't need to say it. Helps with our digestive system, but fiber also helps a lot with lowering heart disease. So fiber does a lot of other things rather than just help with our digestive system, so it is important.
So we don't want to lose that fiber, so we don't want to overcook.
You don't want to overcook anything. No, you're right. I agree.
thing that's on here on your handout is ways to get, to increase your fruits and vegetables. So 12 ways to increase your fruits and vegetable intake. So if you're not getting those 3.5 cup servings a day, this is ways of getting your fruits and vegetables in. And some really good ideas here that Lee and I both have tried.
And we brought some snacks. Some people tried it here. There's more snacks. The glue came in after we started. And they're little dried peas. And so that's another way. Like your snacks are another way to incorporate fruits and vegetables. Those are great. You can keep them in your car. You don't have to refrigerate them. And they're made primarily of peas. So I was, we tend to go to those potato chips and crackers and things like that for snacks. We're trying to find our places for our fruits and vegetables, and our snacks is also important. And there's so many snacks coming out that are fruit and vegetable based. I think more from the gluten-free movement. So a lot of options. Try new things.
Has anybody heard eating the rainbow? To eat the rainbow, I see a couple heads nodding. The rainbow is multiple colors: red, orange, yellow, greens, blues. This is what you should be eating for your fruits and vegetables. Think of eating the rainbow, the different colored nutrients, the different colored fruits and vegetables to get on your plate, to try new things, different colors, because that's where you're getting a lot of your nutrients, your vitamins, your minerals, your fiber into your diet. So eating the rainbow.
Not Fruit Loops.
Yeah, not Fruit
Not Skittles. So any questions on fruits and vegetables? Anybody want to share anything they'd like to add or ways that they get more fruits and vegetables into their diets? Okay, all right, we'll move on to question number 3. So this one might not apply to everybody, but I do get this a lot when I do home visits and I do nutrition lessons throughout the area, and I get this question almost every time. So I can't eat green vegetables when taking Coumadin. Is this true or false? Coumadin, which is a blood thinner. Yes. Okay. So true or false? I can't eat green vegetables when taking Coumadin. So the answer to that is false. So you can eat green vegetables when you're taking Coumadin. So if anybody is, so this is also for your family members, not just for yourself. If you know anybody, so I always say, cruciferous vegetables are the way to go. And I get back, I'm on Coumadin, I can't eat anything green. And I say, well, that's not true. What it is you have to be consistent about it. So you said spinach, absolutely not. You actually can eat spinach if you're consistent about it. So if you say, I'm going to eat spinach once a week, I'm going to have a cup of spinach once a week, and then you're just consistent about it. But if you went to the store and there was a spinach sale, and you bought all the spinach and you ate spinach for a week, not a good idea. So you can share this information with anybody in your life who it might apply with, but these are the foods that are high in vitamin K. Vitamin K is the vitamin that interacts with Coumadin. Vitamin K thickens our blood, Coumadin thins our blood. So they work in opposition. So we have to monitor our intake of vitamin K in order to keep our levels of our clotting resistance basically as a consistent level. So as long as we're consistent with these foods, it shouldn't affect our INR, which is what is measured when you go for Coumadin testing. So you can eat green vegetables if you are on Coumadin. I don't want people to miss all those nutrients and all those valuable antioxidants that are in these foods. We just have to be consistent about it, and this is from high to low, the amount of vitamin K. So does that make sense? Sure, of course.
Would there be a difference in this level between a processed, something that was frozen and a fresh thing?
So the question was, would there be a difference in the level from processed to fresh to frozen? So if it's cooked spinach versus fresh spinach, absolutely, because you're cooking that spinach way down. So the cooked spinach is going to have more of that vitamin just because it's condensed.
Really?
Yeah, because if you think about if you eat a cup of fresh spinach, and think about if you cooked a cup of fresh spinach, how much cooked spinach would that give you? If you take a cup of fresh spinach and you put it in a pan, how much do you get? Maybe like that much, right? So all that vitamin K is going to be in there. So if you have a cup of cooked spinach, it's going to have a lot more of the vitamin K just because it's more spinach. Does that make sense? But otherwise, the freezing doesn't affect the nutrients. Otherwise.
So if you're going for a Coumadin chef on Wednesday, you eat the spinach on Sunday?
as you're consistent about it. So, yeah, I mean, probably, it's pretty instant as far as your reading, so you can pick a time, you can even have it more than once a week. You can have it 5 times a week, but you just have to be consistent about it. That's all.
How about the foods that you eat with it?
So she said, how about the foods that you eat with it? That doesn't really affect the vitamin K. There are certain nutrients that are absorbed better with others, but vitamin K isn't one of those. So just use this list, share it with people you know who are on Coumadin and tell you, I can't eat anything green, because you can. And that's important.
Okay. Question number 4. Nuts should be avoided due to the high fat content. True or false? False. Does everybody agree? Yes. Nuts actually do have a very good fat content, omega-3s. It is recommended to eat 1/4 cup of nuts and you get a lot of fiber, you get a lot of nutrients, okay? And there are some really good fats in there. You just want to be careful. You don't want to have this every day because there is a lot of saturated fat that actually can be in there. But there are some good fats in there. So if you look at your omega-3 shopping list of healthy fats,
This is like good fat, bad fat. This kind of explains a little bit about the different fats.
okay? You have your unsaturated, your saturated, and your trans fats. We kind of broke it down to your better fats, your olive oils, your canola oils, your sunflower oils, your peanut oils, all your nuts and seeds, because again, there's a lot of nutrients, there's a lot of fiber there. Your fish, your salmon, your tuna, again, mackerel, your fatty fish, sardines, you're getting a lot of calcium there, you're getting a lot of nutrients, you're getting a lot of omega-3s, and avocado and olives, okay, again, are good choice of healthier fats. And then of course the bad fats, the trans fats, the oils, the coconut oils, things like that, the animal fats, the whole milk, the regular whole ice cream, things like that, yogurt, cheeses. You want to focus in on more of a lower fat version, okay, of those. And of course the trans fats, that's where a lot of the baked goods come from. A lot of your fried foods. So you want to really limit those fat intake quite a bit. You can avoid it out of your diet. If you do have heart disease, it's recommended to really avoid it out of your diet, but really try to limit out of your diet.
Has there been a drop in heart disease?
Has there been a drop in heart disease? I'm hearing more and more about cancer, the research with cancer. I'm not hearing as much with heart disease. Lee, have you heard anything with a drop? I haven't heard any specific research on that at all, no. This is kind of almost following the Mediterranean diet, which many people really should be following. Again, the plant-based diet is really beneficial. So limiting your red meat, we always recommend, because that is, again, it's not considered, I don't like to say as a bad fat, but it does have a lot of saturated fat in there. So you want to be careful of that. And then we have on here some healthier fat options for you, okay, as I went over a few of them already, so it gives you some options there. And again, because it's loaded with omega-3s. So walnuts is a really good source of nuts, healthy for the brain, because of why? Does anybody know why walnuts is a really good choice out of nut choice? No. Omega-3s. And omega-3s are really beneficial for brain health and against inflammation. So that's a really good choice to choose from out of all the nuts. Yeah.
Any questions on this? Good fats, bad fats, omega-3 shopping list, and this is the front and the back too, the omega-3s. Any questions? No? Okay. So let's move on to the next question. So, number 5, for a meal to be complete, it must contain an animal protein. So an example of this would be pork, beef, chicken, turkey, milk, cheese, eggs, fish. True or false? I heard somebody say false. What did you say?
I wouldn't think it would have to be.
Yeah, she said she doesn't think it would have to be. And everybody agrees. So the answer is false. So So in order for a meal to be complete, it does not need to contain some sort of animal protein. There's lots of people who are vegetarian and vegan in this world, which means that they have Jazz is very sad back there. So vegan is no animal products at all. So and a vegetarian can be a little bit different. There are a lot of different types of it. But a lot of times people who are vegetarian might eat eggs or cheese. People who are vegan, they don't eat. Some of them don't even eat honey because it's made by bees. So, what are some examples of meals that people would think of that don't contain any animal protein that you might eat in your diet? Think about breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Any examples? Peanut butter, yeah. A peanut butter sandwich, peanut butter and banana sandwich, right?
Love it.
No animal products. It's supposed to be the best, yeah. Anything else that people might want to suggest in their samples from their diet? No?
How about tofu? Anybody try tofu?
Or a lentil soup. You had lentil soup for lunch. You know, if you made it without any, animals, any ham or anything in it, that would be a vegetarian meal. Minestrone soup, another vegetarian meal. Salads, you can make a chickpea salad, a Mediterranean chickpea salad. There's lots of options. Oatmeal, right, for breakfast. Oatmeal with walnuts and blueberries. Tofu, like Susan mentioned, people are terrified of it.
Love it. I've just recently have introduced that into my diet, and I absolutely love it.
Yeah, tofu is great. It's made from soybeans. It kind of takes on whatever you're cooking it in. You can grill it. You can do a whole bunch of different things. But the point is, in order to benefit our brain, we want to cut down on the animal protein in our diet. It's been shown that a plant-based diet increases longevity, decreases inflammation, and also is the most beneficial for brain health. So I'm not saying that you all have to go home today and become vegan. That's not what I'm promoting. I'm saying a couple times a week, maybe look at your plate, and instead of saying, what's for dinner? Chicken. Maybe you say, what's for dinner? Chili, a vegetarian chili. So not think about that animal protein as being the center of your meal. Thinking about something else being the center that is not based from an animal. Does that make sense? And I think, did we put some examples on here? I forget what we have for a handout for this one. Oh, this one. So this is an example of protein-packed vegetarian meals and snacks. Is the most important thing when we're vegetarian, when we're following this more plant-based diet, is we're getting enough protein. Really important for seniors. So this gives you some ideas. So the peanut butter, great example for breakfast of protein. Yogurt, another great example. Animal-based, but still better, a little bit better than eating, cold cuts or something else that would be a lot higher in those preservatives. So lunch, bean and cheese burrito, beans, and not an animal source of protein. And then we have nuts. As Susan mentioned, nuts are amazing. Quinoa is a grain that's actually high in protein. So this just will give you some example, and you can always use soy milk if you don't like dairy. There's lots of other ways to get your protein rather than having to eat animals. So any questions or comments about that? So like I said, if you can do it a couple days a week, give up, have a vegetarian meal for lunch, and you're on your way to really helping your brain and your body. And your budget too. It's cheaper. That's good.
Yeah, beans are very inexpensive. They can be cooked in many different ways. Okay, question number 6. What are the signs of dehydration? We want you to select all that apply. Dry mouth, confusion, decreased pulse, flushing skin, and clear urine.
So
what are some signs?
Dehydration?
Dehydration, yep. All but the last one, which is, it was increased pulse.
Clear urine.
Yep. Anybody else?
Tenting skin.
Sorry?
Tenting skin. Or chest. Headache.
Yep.
Dizzy.
Yep.
Blurry.
So she said tenting skin. Does anybody know what that means? What she means by that? take it and you pinch your skin and it would stay up, that means you're dehydrated. It's a really good sign. It's a really good test. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that. So the answer is A, dry mouth, B, confusion, and D, flushed skin. C and E are incorrect. As you would have an increased pulse, okay, and you would have dark amber colored urine, kind of like apple juice color, okay, apple juice type color,
Yeah.
okay. So it would be A, B, and D, dry mouth, confusion, and flushed skin. So let's look at, I think it might be your last handout, the water and hydration handout that we put together for you. Okay, and you can see the benefits of some of the benefits of having water, drinking water, okay, every day. Okay, it moves nutrients and medications through your body. It reduces constipation, okay, as Lee had mentioned, fiber, getting enough water in. If you're getting a lot of fiber in, you want to drink water, okay, make sure you don't get too constipated. Make sure and have enough water to make sure everything flows through. It protects your joints and organs from injury. It keeps your skin moist and younger looking, and which we all love. And it cools the body in the summer and warms your body in the winter. Okay? So some fun facts. It is recommended to drink 6 to 8 cups. 1 cup is 8 ounces of water per day. So 6 to 8 cups per day. Okay? If you are on a fluid pill, make sure and talk to your doctor about this though. Okay? Because your doctor might have you on a fluid restriction. Or certain medications, you may have to restrict your fluid. So make sure and talk to your doctor about this.
Excuse me, what do you mean by fluid?
A fluid pill like Lasix, a diuretic?
That's what I mean.
Yes. Okay. We talked about signs of dehydration and common signs of dehydration. Okay. And then on the back of your handout, some tips of increasing water intake. Does anybody have any recommendations that they do to try to get their water intake in?
Add flavoring.
Add flavoring. Great idea. Sorry?
I said tea helps me.
Tea, yeah, drinking hot
Yeah.
or cold tea. Maybe hot tea in the winter or cold tea, iced tea in the summer. Just be careful about caffeine. Try to do more of a decaf version, and be careful of any type of added sugars or anything like that that's added in there. Additional calories. Yes.
Hot water.
I'm sorry.
Hot water with
Hot water.
cloves or cinnamon.
Yes. I've done in the winter hot water with
I do
lemon.
it all the time.
Really helps.
How do you feel about Gatorade?
Gatorade has a lot of nutrients in there, but it does have a lot of added sugar in there. So you read the carbohydrate and added sugar content, it does have a lot of sugar in there. You can add, again, a lot of the flavoring packets to it, a lot of lemon to it to get some different version. Some people add fresh fruit. I've seen like oranges or strawberries or raspberries, whatever may be in season, and it actually takes that flavor to it. Some people have added cucumbers in the summer, fresh cucumbers from the garden, and that's a nice, or mint, adding fresh mint into the water to get that flavoring in. I think that's it. Does anybody have any questions? Oh, yes. Your list of fruits.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, your list of fruits and vegetables. Thank you, Lee. List of fruits and vegetables. You also have another handout. List of fruits and vegetables that have high water content in them. As we all love.
Cucumbers.
Cucumbers, celery. Anybody have any questions?
What about like tap water? Things is like, where, you know, there's a lot of farming and moving, you know, Brita filter and I use that. And, you know, I do drink the water, I drank it all my life, but my husband likes to buy that foam spring water, so I drink that too. And, it's just spending money on something.
Right. So the question was, what about tap water? I mean, in general, in this country, our tap water is pretty safe, but sometimes different towns have different excess of minerals, farming, old pipes, you know, depending on where you live. What did you say?
They give warnings here.
So they give warnings here. So I think the best thing, so Brita filters, there's a lot of water filters out there and they all kind of filter out different things. So the best thing is to have your water tested. I don't know if Newberry is. When I lived in Andover, we could send out our water to the town and they would test it and bring back a report of what everything was in, and then we could buy the appropriate filter based on what we wanted to filter out. So that's the most accurate way to do it if you're really concerned about it. Bottled water is expensive and it's a lot of extra plastic. So if you can go tap water, I would say go for it and then move. There's a lot of different really great filters that you can use if you're concerned about that as well. I don't know if you have anything to add.
Getting the water, you know, just making sure that besides iron, if there's any other things that are high in there that you want to just be careful of and be aware of.
The one thing you want to remember though, using filters is to change them. So that you don't.
Very true.
Yes.
Very, very true.
Marking your calendar, putting it on your phone to change out your filter, yes.
Otherwise you get moldy water, who knows what's in there, so, yes.
A lot of debris
Change
builds
your
up.
filters, yes. Very important. Very, very true. Thank you.
So Lee and I have some other services that we wanted to talk to you all about. One of them is our medical nutrition therapy services, and I'll pass it over to Lee.
So medical nutrition therapy, so my job as a dietitian is I work a lot with the Meals on Wheels program, and we also do nutrition home visits for people who, it depends if they're within our agency, we will do it for a lot of different medical conditions, but outside of our agency, Medicare covers anybody who has diabetes or renal disease. And you get up to 3 home visits a year. Susan and I would come out to your home, we'd look at all your food, sometimes we throw things in the trash with your permission, of course, but we go through what you're eating and try to see if we can make any changes to make your diet better for your condition. So even if you had diabetes, your diabetes is completely under control, but all of a sudden you have something else coming up, because you have diabetes, we can come see you. We don't necessarily have to talk about diabetes. So if you know anybody in the community, family members, friends that qualify by having Medicare and having renal disease or diabetes, kidney disease is another word for renal, that is something that we offer through elder services. But other than that, we do home visits for people that are a member or consumer of elder services as well. So it's really helpful. I found it to be very beneficial for people. And then the Meals on Wheels, should I talk a little bit about that? So Meals on Wheels is another service. Has everybody heard of Meals on Wheels? Okay, so Meals on Wheels, we deliver a hot meal to your door every day. And it's also a wellness check to make sure that you are home and that you are safe. Sometimes the seniors that we deliver to, the Meals on Wheels driver is the only person that they see all day. So Meals on Wheels, talking to people in the community, a lot of people have kind of a misconception of Meals on Wheels. They say, oh, it's really salty, or oh, it doesn't meet my needs. We offer regular, a cardiac, a renal, a Chinese, a diabetic, a puree, a ground, and I think that's it. As far as all the different menus we offer, so depending on diabetic, so depending on your medical condition, we offer these medically tailored meals to meet your needs. So there's a lot of different options. There's menus back there if you're interested in it, and it's a $2 suggested $2 donation, but basically whatever you can afford. If you can't afford anything, that's okay. You'll still get your meal and you'll still get a wellness check every single day. So we serve over 2,000 meals a day. So it's a pretty impressive program. A lot of people benefit. We're always looking for drivers too. So if anybody knows anybody who'd like to volunteer, that's another option.
And Lee, also, how are the meals tested for quality?
Okay, so Chaz asked how are the meals tested for quality. So a couple different ways we send out surveys to all of our consumers, but we also get meals delivered to the office every day. And our employees get to eat them and tell us how they are. So those are our two main ways. You know, the kitchen's in Andover and we are in Lawrence, so we're always working very closely with them. So we see the meals every day, we eat them. The employees at Elder Services eat the meals every single day. So
They
Sure.
figured out how to use lentils pretty well.
they know how to use lentils. We're working on it. Sometimes we get a lot of things if all of a sudden there's excess in the country, so they'll say, all right guys, you have to use lentils, and then we have to figure out ways to use them. Sometimes it's not always successful, but thank you, we're trying. So she said, are the meals high in protein? And is that what you asked her?
Or
Lentils.
lentils.
Can I ask you, approximately how many calories are one of these meals?
So that's a great question. She said approximately how many calories are one of these meals? So they range, so in your meal you get your entree and two sides. So let's say it was today was chicken cordon bleu with potatoes and vegetables, I believe. And then you get a cold bag which has milk, dessert, and bread. And for everything in that meal, it's usually anywhere from 600 to 900 calories, depending on what the meal is. And with that, the sodium is regulated, and the protein, depending on what type of meal. For renal, it's a little bit different for protein, for kidney disease, but we try to they always have a good protein source because that's really important. So they meet the protein needs, they meet the calorie needs, and they're lower in sodium. So, and they taste pretty good, most of the time. So any questions about Meals on Wheels, or what'd you say?
We have a client here.
A client? Oh, are you a Meals on Wheels client? Yes.
We have meals on wheels,
And what do you like them?
but I can't hear you.
Oh, but you can't hear us, okay.
But I do get Meals on Wheels.
Yes, good.
I do.
Wonderful.
And I've been getting them, and I have been getting them for probably a year and a half.
Okay.
And most of the time, they're really very good. I have to say that. But she mentioned the word lentils, and I can understand that you people have to cook for many different types of people, and you have to have some of the things that they eat, we don't, So, but I understand that. So you have to learn to accept it and have to eat what is delivered to you,
Yeah, she said, well, we did a cold lentil salad. Was something that we've been doing, but she said you just, not what you like, everybody else is gonna like. And our seniors range in age from 60 to 100, and so the people who are 100 years old have totally different eating desires than the people who are 60. So it's trying to meet that all the needs of everybody can be a challenge. But I'm glad you like them, and thank you. Yes. Any other questions about our services, nutrition services? Okay. Go ahead.
Thankfully. So I have been working at Elder Services of Merrimack Valley going on over 10 years now. As Chaz mentioned, in the Healthy Living Center of Excellence, where we have over 200 partners statewide that run prevention and wellness programs. All of these programs that we offer are free of charge to the community because we receive funding through our federal government, through the state, through foundations such as Tufts Health Plan Foundation. And a few of the programs, we have over, I would say, about 16 programs that we offer. And the handout, the fact sheet that I provided you has a lot of the programs, yes, that we actually offer. Would you mind just holding that one?
Oh, yeah.
Yes, on both sides. And we have basically a lot of these programs actually are in different languages that we offer. And then we have some that are one-on-one programs that we can actually come out to your home and work on goals that you would like to work on. If it's exercise, if it's quitting smoking, if it's eating healthy, if it's exercise, I think I mentioned, but if it's anything that you specifically would like to work on, we have a health coach that would come out and actually work with you and provide you resources in the community for you to be successful with your goal. One of the programs that actually relates to what we talked about today is our Healthy Eating for for Successful Living program. And that is a 6-week program held once a week in a room like this with about the same amount of participants here, led by 2 facilitators. And you learn about, more dive in about fats, carbohydrates, proteins, label reading, exercise, fluid, getting your water intake in, fiber intake, good fats versus bad fats. What I love is at week 5, you can go to the grocery store with a registered dietitian or with one of the leaders. They make it fun, or you look at different products, read different labels, all new different things that you come across of, or you haven't, a lot of different new experiences and new different products that are actually out there, and especially with the new food label. So it's a great program. If you are interested in any of our programs, on this sheet, we have the number on there that you can actually call. I call it the Healthy Living Center hotline, and we will get you registered for a program near you, or if we have enough people in the Newbury-Byfield area, we can get one going right here. The other program that's two actually other programs that are very highly well attended is the first one, the My Life, My Health, the Chronic Disease Self-Management Program, and that's for anyone 18 and above that has an ongoing medical condition. What do I mean by an ongoing medical condition? Chronic disease. Can you give me an example? Diabetes, heart disease, cancer, arthritis, COPD, any of those ongoing medical conditions. You learn how to, over the 6 weeks, we provide you as leaders, provide you the tools and the skills to learn how to manage your own medical condition without quickly picking up the phone and calling the doctor or admitting yourself into the hospital, okay? You learn the tools about better nutrition, about exercise, about better breathing, about falls prevention, about weight management, communication with your doctor, your family, your friends. So it's a lot of great tools, great techniques that you can use. It's very interactive workshop, so it's not a sit and learn. Each week you set a goal, okay, on something that you want to work on. I had a lady in one of my workshops who wanted to hem 7 pairs of pants that were sitting there for 2 years. Over the 6 weeks, she'd hem the 7 pairs of pants. She was so excited. So each week you set a goal and report back on the following week to the group on how well and how successful you were with achieving that goal. So we have a program like that. It's held once a week for about 2 to 2.5 hours. And then from there, two spin-off programs. One is called the Diabetes Self-Management Program, specifically if you do have diabetes or pre-diabetes. And then the other one is called our Chronic Pain Program, specifically if you do have chronic pain, for people that have arthritis, for people that have fibromyalgia. A lot of people have back pain. So this really does help with that. And from week 3 through week 6, we do slow, gentle exercise movements, which help people with arthritis. And then the other program that I'd like to talk about is our Falls Prevention Program, our Matter of Balance program. This is an 8-week version versus the 6-week. It's held once a week for 2 hours, and you learn about ways to prevent falls, ways to be more assertive in asking people for help, building your confidence around falls. People tend to, in the wintertime, isolate themselves, not go out as much, not attend social activities as much, because they're afraid of falling, afraid of the ice, afraid of the snow, whatever it may be. These are ways to prevent falls. We have at week 7, I do believe, we have an occupational therapist or a physical therapist actually come out and answer a lot of your questions, show you if you do fall, how you get up properly from a fall, how to prevent a fall. So it's a lot of building your confidence and interactive skills to work on or all around falls prevention and the fear of falling. So a lot of great programs on there, again, funded through our federal government, through our foundations, Tufts Health Plan Foundation, Harvard Pilgrim Foundation has funded many of these programs to get the word out in the community community and be able to help people and provide resources for everyone in the community. And we hold them in senior centers, we've held them in police stations, community centers, housing sites. So if you are interested, please call and we will get you referred into a program. Any questions? Yes?
Have you done any statistics on life expectancy and how this affects it?
Life expectancy
Yes.
with, no, not specifically on that topic.
It'd be an interesting one to.
People would be living longer, I'm sure, when they attend some of these programs, especially learning how to manage their own medical condition. It does keep people, again, out from the doctor's offices, from the hospitals, the out-of-pocket costs for medications and things like that has been about $390 cost savings for people attending the chronic disease self-management program. People have improvement with their pain, better sleep, improvement with medication compliance, prevention with falls, with nutrition, exercise. They've been joining a gym or going walking out with a friend because they feel more confident about being able to do this. So it's a lot of socialization. It's a lot of group support that people actually have from these programs. Well, thank you all very much for coming. We really appreciate it. And if you do have any questions, our information is on the contact handouts that we have provided you. And we hope you join the program.
There's more information back there, those wheels, other things, so feel free to mention. But thank you all very much.
So thank you, Lee and Susan, for providing some information on nutrition. Now, where do you get all of this information that they gave you? Where do you get the food at? Well, one of the resources available is through the First Parish Church Food Pantry in Newberry. So I would like to introduce Jane Merrill and Sue Bacuzo to let us know about this wonderful resource that often goes underutilized.
Hi, I'm Jane. This is Sue, and we are partners in the community food pantry at the First Parish Church. And so we can sit down. I just wanted to tell you all about it. We're open every Friday from 3 to 5, and anyone in need is welcome.
We don't do financials like a lot of the others.
Yeah.
You just come.
Yeah. And when you do leave, we will ask, that you give us your name and what town you're from. It doesn't matter. We have to keep track of how many seniors, anyone 65 and older. We want to know how many adults, 18 to 64, and how many children. And we also count how many bags of food you take. And it doesn't count against you. It doesn't matter how many. But those are the statistics we need. And then we just ask for your name. So Sue does
Then I sit at the end of the month and add them all up.
Yeah, Sue's my computer person.
Yes.
She does indeed, thank goodness, and she writes for grants. We're 100% volunteer. No one gets paid at our food pantry. And I want to just review a few things that we have to offer. First off, we just talked about the fresh produce that's available this time of year. Every Friday, we also have a free farmer's market. And Nourishing the North Shore, a group that's been around, I think, for about 10 years, they set up a tent and set up tables, and they have everything beautifully displayed. They grow a lot of the food they have. They glean it from local gardens. And we also buy food or get food from the Greater Boston Food Bank, so that, we might have watermelons when they might not have them, or corn. Today, I would say we probably got 2,500 pounds of fresh produce that will be available tomorrow, along with what they have. So we have corn and honeydew melons and beets and colored carrots, regular carrots, kale. We have just about everything, broccoli.
And even in the winter, when the farmer's market is not outside, still from Boston, we do get a lot of fresh vegetables, so you don't have to do the cans. There is fresh vegetables.
Right. We now get deliveries 3 times a month, so we would have those fresh produce, and would also have like your onions and your carrots and any squash that would roll over too. In the wintertime and in the summer, we would get donations every week also from Tender Crop Farm. They've been great with us. Some of the foods we do have low sodium foods. We try to keep those in a special section. If you have a special diet, if you just let us know, we'll help you find those. Some canned vegetables are low sodium. We try and have some low sugar foods too, like applesauce. We'll have regular applesauce that might be sweetened, but we'll also have the applesauce without sugar and the fresh produce. We also have canned and frozen vegetables. More frozen vegetables in the wintertime than the summer. We have frozen soups, which is a meal, and it might have a little more sodium. Some of them are gluten-free. A lot of those come from Panera that we're able to get. So we have a great big boat cooler, and it will be all filled with all different kinds of soups. It might be tomato, it might be spinach and kale, it might be chili, it might be vegetarian chili, black bean soup. We have all different kinds. Whatever I'm able to get is what we have. We also have breads. We have breads that come from Shaw's, and they give us some pastries too. But we also have bread from the Pigs Could Fly Bakery, which is a very good bread. It's I believe it's a sourdough base. That comes every Friday also. We have milk. We have fresh milk every week, and I usually have 1% milk. A lot of people want the whole milk, but what I can usually get is the 1%. And we also have shelf-stable milk, so it's the milk in the box. You know, once you open it, you have to refrigerate it. And right now we also have powdered milk, if that's something people want. But it seems like fresh milk is something that everybody needs. We have eggs every single week, mostly from the store. Occasionally we'll get donations. Well, it's more than occasionally. I'd say twice a month at least. We have donations that come in from fresh local eggs too. So we'll, separate the two so you can know some people only want fresh eggs from the local, some people only want store eggs.
And those of you who can't eat chicken eggs, we also have someone who donates duck eggs.
Right, occasionally we are, and the duck eggs actually are also soy-free from Rosie's Garden that they'll frequently drop those off when they have extras. So that's great. So if you have a soy allergy, you can certainly eat those. And most people that have a chicken egg allergy can eat duck eggs. If you have an allergy, I would check with your doctor first, but usually you're able to have those duck eggs. Other things we have are beef, pork, fish, and chicken. And we have 3 freezers in the front of our church and 2 refrigerators, and we have off-site storage also. So we, again, with those big boat coolers, we have one for each type of meat. And we ask that you just take maybe one thing from each of each category. If you have a larger family, then certainly you can take more than that.
And so Jane does a fantastic job shopping. So it could be a whole chicken, it could be chicken legs, chicken thighs.
Yeah. Chicken breast.
We've even had tenderloin. I mean.
Oh yeah, I do enjoy the shopping. We just got just over 7,000 pounds of food this morning. So that's why we're late, because we had to go and pick all that up, and we got it in Peabody. It came from the Greater Boston Food Bank, and we have to put it all in the refrigerators, the freezers, and our whole church balcony is our dry goods storage. It's all categorized, it's all very orderly. And every week we turn the church into a food pantry, and then we change it back into a church. And yeah, it's a whole day's work. So we start about 7:30 in the morning. The first person arrives, and usually get done around 6 or 6:30 at night. To be open for 2 hours. But during those 2 hours, we usually serve 150 people. We've served as much as 160 and more, but it's generally about 150 people. And we would count that if there were 2 of you in your household and you came in, we would count that as 2 people served. It's how many people are we feeding each week. Those are averages we have to keep track of too. So we have crackers, we have cookies, we have all kinds of juices. Whatever I can get from the Greater Boston Food Bank, I'm going to get. Usually orange, usually apple, had tomato, a cranberry type recently. We also have paper products. Everybody I know uses toilet paper. So we have toilet paper, we have paper towels, usually have tissues. We also try to have some personal care products like shampoos, shaving cream, dish soap. Everybody needs dish soap, laundry detergent. We try and have all of those things you need. Bar soap. We've recently had an increase in babies that are coming, so I buy different size of diapers also, because those are really expensive. And interestingly about diapers, when a mom has her baby and she wants to go back to work, most of the daycares require that you have the babies in disposable diapers. But most of the WIC and different programs will not pay for disposable diapers. So mom wants to go back to work, but that's a huge expense. They're really expensive. So I try to get diapers. I've got like 4 or 5 different sizes for different children. We also, with Carol LaRock, the new animal control officer, we have pet food for cats and for dogs are available right at our pantry. So she has a representative there with their whole shelf, with a little curtain on it. So if your cat needs special renal diet or whatever, you know, if you're in need, we want you to feed your cat too and your dog, because we know you're going to feed them before you feed yourself. Let's see. We also have childcare. We have a little table in the back. We've got crayons. We've got all sorts of toys and games. We have one person designated to kind of watch the kids and play with them, so that the mother or dad can shop and know that their kids are safe and right there.
We also, she's done great, huh? We also have a section of gluten-free.
Yep.
And also for those of you who like to bake, we carry flour, sugar, olive oil, Wesson oil. We have it all. It may not all be there every week, but during the month it'll show up.
Yep. We, through Pennies for Poverty, we also have volunteers that come, and if you don't have a ride to our pantry, they can pick you up. We've got numbers to call that they will come and pick you up. Or if you want them to shop for you, they shop probably for 6 to 8 people each week. And what they'll do is, once we get our whole pantry set up, is they'll take their cell phone and they'll go through all the different meats, all the different produce, all the different cereals, whatever we have, to see what that person needs, and then they will bring it right to your house.
And I don't know if you all live in Newbury. Unfortunately, our pantry's open on Friday. The senior van in Newbury does not run on Fridays. But if you were in Newburyport, there is a van there that will bring you.
Yeah, the Council on Aging van, usually they send at least 1, sometimes 2 in Newburyport each week. And what I do is people come and then they sign up. They can start signing up at 1 o'clock, even though we don't open until 3. And if they want, they're able to go down to the Methodist Church, and down there they have coffee, they have tea, they have snacks, sometimes soup in the winter, just so you have a place to socialize until our food pantry's open. What was I
And then
saying?
you get a number.
Yeah.
You have a seat in the pew, and we call your number. We have everybody gets a shopper and a grocery cart.
Yeah.
And we run about 8 to 10 of them at a time.
Yeah.
And we have a way to go in and out. And you have a personal shopper, and they help you load your bags or whatever. You get to the door, there's a couple other gentlemen and a woman. They take your bags and they bring them out to your car for you.
Yep, they've got wagons to put them right out there. It's really a well-oiled machine, I've got to say. It's really pretty darn amazing. We also have music while you're waiting. We have Marge Killen plays the piano for the first hour, and then we have either Edwina Goodhue, who plays the auto harp, and then we've got a new woman, I'm sorry, I can't remember her name, but she also plays the piano. So almost all the time we have live music, which is really kind of nice for a food pantry. Does anybody have any questions? And we're very, very friendly. Very, very friendly. We have a reputation for being the most friendly food pantry. Yes?
So I said this in the beginning, I'm sorry if I missed it, but is there a certain town you have to live in, or is it just not?
If you're in need, you're welcome. If you're in need, you're welcome. Yeah.
We've had people from farthest away. We've got a few from New Hampshire. I've also had people from Melrose, Danvers, Lawrence.
Now, Sue's our number cruncher, so she keeps the tallies. Any numbers for like last month, you remember off the top
Well,
of your head?
because I just had to do it, I can tell you last year, our fiscal year goes from August to July, and last year we gave out, it was something like 11,965 bags of groceries.
Which is pretty darn amazing.
So we average around 1,000 a month.
Is there an increase? Has there been?
There's an increase and decrease depending on the season.
Yeah, there's an increase constantly.
As far as bags going out, people, there's always
People,
more people.
yeah, it's more and more and more. We're so grateful that we're able to do this, you know, that the church lets us use it. We don't have to pay rent because it's part of the church. And as I say, it's all volunteer, so every penny that comes in goes right to to buy food or personal care needs.
So 4 years ago, Jane and I were sitting in church and the minister said, can someone take over for the Methodist Church in Byfield because it's closing? And they had 6 or 8 recipients.
Yep.
So for a while, we were each paying ourselves, getting food for these people, and well, anyway, here we are.
Yeah, so, once we got into the Greater Washington Food Bank, some of the food we can get for free, some of it we have to pay for. But, you know, Sue mentioned that we have flour and sugar. Flour is kind of hard to get, but I always try to have sugar. Coffee to me is a necessity of life, so I try to have coffee, try to have tea all the time, you know, things that I think might be really important. I very rarely buy candy. To me,
No
it's,
candy.
I very rarely buy candy.
Right. We do get cakes from Shaw sometimes, stuff like that, but we have granola bars, but on the sweet end, like today, I packed all kinds of drumsticks, the ice cream cones.
Yeah.
We got those.
Yeah, if
and
I can get
tomorrow's
ice
supposed to be
cream,
really hot, so that'll be great.
It's nice to have a little something that's a treat too. So if I can get it, so with this over 7,000 pounds of food today, I think I spent probably $1,200.
How do you get yogurt?
Yes.
Usually, yes. Oh, and that's a great question. I didn't get any today, but usually I can get yogurt. But we also are part of the food recovery program, which is phenomenal. We've been with the New Report group for quite a while. What happens is at the end of the week, we've got Nourishing on Our Shore has groups. They will go to the different schools and they will pick up any food that would have been thrown out, like apples. The kids have to take a piece of fruit. So they either take an apple or an orange. They have to take a yogurt. They have to take a little piece of cheese. And if they don't want that apple or orange, there's a bin they can put it in. And what happens is school comes in, they'll wash everything, wash the fruit, you know, make sure that if it's a yogurt container that it's not punctured or anything. And then they bring all that to us. And from the high school, we also get like different salads. It might be yogurt things, all sorts of things. And I'm so happy that Newbury Elementary, as of last year, is also participating in this program. So they go to Newbury Elementary. Oh, it's also milks, the little milks, white milks. It might be, chocolate milk. Boy, that's a very popular thing, those little chocolate milks. You know, we really try and check those dates, make sure that they're all good, but they bring them over and we give them out right then. And also like the little fruit cups, they'll have, you know, they might have little cherry tomatoes, they might have peaches or whatever. You know, it's just a little single serving size. We try not to waste anything, and we recycle everything. We have people that take the cardboard to the recycle center. We try and when they talked about drinking water and not using all those bottles, please don't use all those bottles of water. Please don't, because it's just polluting your environment. And any food that is not fit to be given out, we try to bring to the Little's Farm, because Pierce spends a little, that will be fed to the animals. Sometimes I've had milk that has gone outdated, bring it there, the pigs will eat that. And also, any food that's good after our Friday that will not last till the next Friday, we send over to our neighbor's table. So we try to have very, very little waste.
So every month from our neighbor's table, I get a piece of paper from them, and they weigh what we give them, so I know where the food goes. So this week's paper said 50 pounds, but I've had it up to 300 pounds. So nothing gets wasted, even if it goes in their soups, whatever.
Does anybody have any questions? I know I talk a lot, but.
And everyone's welcome. We have from young to elderly. We have a lot of 20, 30-year-olds who are single parents, work full time, still can't make ends meet.
Yeah.
Everybody's the same.
Yeah.
Just come.
If you need help, come and see us, and we'll do as best we can. And you know, sometimes I can redirect people to, if you're having trouble with a oil bill, or I don't know. So you know, sometimes things come up, and it's like that brainstorming thing. It's just because you've helped someone before, you know how to direct them. Sometimes I can help, you know, maybe steer in a direction that might be able to get you a little bit of help, because we're all on the same team.
We're And in the beginning, we had a homeless person, and through a couple people that Jane knew, we ended up getting him one of those multi-bag sleeping bags.
Yeah.
The small propane heaters, he would not come in. However, he got hurt. He did not like to be in buildings. He wanted to be outside, so we kept him out. We made sure he was warm and fed.
How do they learn about you?
Word of mouth,
Word of
and we're on
mouth.
Facebook.
Yeah, we're on Facebook. We have a flag that we put out when we're open. When we first started, I went to different laundromats and put a big poster. There's probably
And
still
I've got
some
big
around. Yeah. You know, the Council on Aging's in Both Town know. Yeah, we've been around for a while. I'm trying to think. It's over 300 people, I think, last month that we served, right? Yeah, over 300 people.
households.
Yeah. 300. Yeah.
320 households last month.
Yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot. And you know, our volunteers generally they start coming and then they get addicted because it's a nice environment to work in and to help and they keep coming back. So.
Good job.
Well, thank you. Well, it's not
Well,
one
it's good
person.
for her.
Let me tell you. Yeah, I was adding up and I am. We do have over 60 volunteers. You know, that do various things, people that pick up food, people that are there today when I came back with the refrigerated trucks and all, with their dollies, and, you know, they might not be able to lift things, but they can push a dolly. All the people that we have to help us on Friday, from setting up in the morning, it takes a lot of work to change a church into a pantry, and then to change it back into a church, washing floors, bags, you know, bags. We ask people to bring their bags back. I'll tell you, when I go grocery shopping, I always leave my bags home. So we need a constant supply of bags, you know, little plastic bags, big bags, whatever. But, you know, we're all just people and we're just trying to help each other, so.
And the community's been great.
Yeah.
Like today, we got the Link House on board, so they give us 4 guys, I pick them up.
Yeah.
They're all strong, they
Yeah.
run around us like nothing,
Yeah.
and do whatever.
Because it is community.
Yeah.
And it's not just this church that's running it, we've got people from probably 6 or 7 different local churches and people that don't even go to church. It doesn't matter who you are, but they come and volunteer and help because it's a whole community.
And this winter, it was great. One of our volunteers really dug into getting volunteers, so we had Stone Ridge Properties, we had House and Realty, we had all kinds of people.
Well, we're very fortunate, so.
But with, you know, if you wanna come, if you know anybody,
Oh,
3
yeah.
to 5 on Friday.
Yeah, I got some little cards if anybody wants them. Any questions? Okay.
Thank you.
Well, thank you, Jane and Sue. And as Sue had mentioned, currently the Newbury Council on Aging does not have van service on Friday because the office is closed. But we have talked in the past, if we do have enough interest for folks who do want to go there, just call into the Council on Aging, and if we do have enough folks who are interested in going, we will find somebody to operate the van for that day. We've been talking about it for a couple of years now, and we just haven't gotten the interest. But if we do have that interest, we will make it available to our seniors as well. All right. Well, thank you all for coming, and if you can please make sure you leave your evaluations so that we can plan for some more programming. Thank you.